Hi, my name is Noelle Bovan, and I'm an entrepreneur, a business, and a life coach, and I want to help you create the life you want. Today, I'm going to talk about moving from fear to courage. So, fear is a word that has really obviously gripped me in my life, but given me so much intelligence. Once I started to understand the way in which I would respond to fear. And, for all of us, it's a little bit different, but really it has the same context. It definitely is gripping and limiting, and it kind of closes off our ability to see the bigger picture. And there are many ways in which we respond towards fear instead of away from it. And I run a business, and one of the things I learned early on in my business was that as soon as I started to identify that when I moved towards fear, I made poor decisions. I started to contract myself in ways that limited my growth, and then cared about what other people thought more than what I cared about. And so at that point, when I started to link those together, those reactions together with fear, I recognized that if I moved in the opposite direction, for me was in kindness and towards love, that I was able to let go of any sense of competition and move in a way that allowed expansion, allowed me to do the things I wanted to do, and recognize that what I am creating is so different and unique from what anyone else is creating that it's not even relatable. And when I found that, everything got a little bit easier. Because it was easy to identify when I started to move towards that fear. I would just feel that contraction and know immediately that that wasn't the direction that I wanted to move into. So it's includes a lot of self-awareness, a practice of moving from fear, right? And so when you start to move away from fear, you move in the direction to courage. You move in the direction of lightness. You move in the direction of heart. And it takes a tremendous amount of trust in order to do that. I then, also began to imply and amplify that into my life in all other realms. And what I noticed is that I started to become a lighter and more caring version of myself, because the aspects of fear that gripped me into almost like a paralyzing form in my body, where I could no longer make clear decisions, that started to settle. And what I gave myself time for was to recognize the fear. So to sit in it a little bit, to watch it come up, see what and where it's derived from, and then make a choice to go in the opposite direction. And again, in so much of what I do, I always talk about the consciousness, right? Making conscious choices, meaning to identify, to see in the ways in which we respond. So when we make conscious decisions, there's a moment that actually stops us in noticing. And that's really what I'm getting at, is the moment in which you notice that something isn't working, it doesn't feel good in your body, and then you stop. And here's where the challenge is with the courage, is the courage to go into it, the courage to sit in that fear and to decide whether that's serving you or not serving you. And the more time you spend doing that, you will see things change, because you're paying attention to the ways in which you unconsciously respond. Hence, once you start notice the ways in which you unconsciously respond, consciousness can come out of that. You can start making conscious decisions. And that's what I'm encouraging is, and I say this a lot, is encouraging you to take the step to do things that challenge you so that you can move away from fear, all the things that fear brings that limit us, to moving into courage, thus into kindness and love and compassion, and doing things